Hello and welcome back to another episode of Balls and Brew, another hashtag original squad. Always excited to be able to say those words. Joining me from North Carolina, my guy, my confidant, my co-host, my bald friend from North Carolina, where he still is wearing black because Coach K lost his final game to North Carolina. It's Chris King.
What is up, Rod? And I am excited for this episode. We are going to have some great stuff. We got Roberts back. We got the Masters. And you and I are going to get into some heated arguments later on.
That's right. That's what the people stick around for the Masters discussion, but wait for a treat at the end where Chris and I yell at each other. You've never heard that before. Chris did do a spoiler there. Hashtag original squad means we're joined by our guy from the desert, our golf guy, Mr. Matt Roberts. Matt, hello.
Hello, friends.
That's right. It is a tradition unlike any other. We are actually recording this Thursday evening, so round one has already happened. So we're going to tackle the Masters discussion a little differently this year. A lot of years in past, we'd give you who's going to win, all that stuff. We still may talk about that because we have the weekend, but we're going to focus on a few other things. But if we're talking PGA Tour, there's one other story I want to touch on before we get to all that is good in golf. That is Augusta and the Masters and a certain return. Oh, yeah, don't think we're not going to talk about that. But, Mr. Roberts, I heard something interesting the other day that I did not know. The PGA Tour does not announce when its players are suspended. Is it possible that Phil Mickelson is suspended?
I think it's 100% possible. I think he is suspended. They've had a track record of this with Dustin Johnson with his broken ankle, I think it was, is why he missed a while. I wouldn't be surprised if Bryson's wrist injury wasn't a suspension. They were not messing around with the Saudi League, and I think they wanted to show some of their strength, but it's not like they did it just for this tournament or this reason. They've always done it that way. So if anything, people want to bag the PGA. I'm kind of one ex-PGA member. They're consistent with it.
I was going to say, now that we're a little further away from that, do you think that this has actually strengthened the PGA Tour? Do you think this has actually helped the players any? I mean, is there any good that's come out of this kerfuffle that Phil Mickelson has created?
I think there will be good. I don't know what it's going to look like. I think you strengthen the tour with a lot of these guys coming out saying, hey, this is my number one priority. This is where I'm committed. You keep sponsorship money running in. Everybody wants more money. The players want more money. The PGA Tour want more money. They're going to have to find some kind of way to find a balance that's going to be beneficial to both. And one of Phil's biggest sticking points is owning the rights to their own media. The PGA Tour owns every great shot you've ever seen on an internet clip, on a TV show. The players get nothing from it.
Ooh, moving forward, that's a big thing. So I can see, again, I'm not trying to defend Phil Mickelson here, and we touched on this a little bit last time you joined us, but I can see his point on all of that. Now, I know that the Masters chairman came out because even if Phil was suspended from the PGA Tour, which you let us know all the time on this podcast, that doesn't mean anything to Augusta. If they wanted him there, he'd be there. They came out and said that they didn't tell Phil not to come. So clearly it was Phil's choice, or it was Phil's choice because of the PGA Tour, right? So I think that's pretty interesting.
No, I disagree. I think that's totally Phil's choice. I think he could have went and played, but I think he has a very deep respect for that place, and it would have been a huge distraction. And I think he just decided, hey, I got jackets. I can show up whenever. I can play whenever. I'll go to the Champions Dinner next year. Let the tournament shine.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Mr. King, you have put your foot in your mouth many times over your lifetime. So let me ask you this. What do you think Phil needs to do? Can he do anything to get himself back in the good graces of the PGA Tour and quite frankly, many fans out there?
I mean, he has a longer road back, I think, with the PGA than he probably does with fans. Yeah, he put his foot in his mouth. I do agree with some of the stuff he's talking about. I think the players should own the rights to their own shots, especially with the way NFTs are starting to make a lot of ground. These players.
You were so old. You sounded so old when you said NFTs right there too. Like, so even people listening to this just in their earbuds could tell how old you were when you said that.
I'm just saying that's a good way for these younger players, especially, to make additional money on tour if they own the rights to those shots, those clips. And I think that's a big sticking point. I think PGA needs to change their the rules on that aspect. But I think the best thing he can do is stay away. If it's a suspension, he will have to. I think he stays away for about a year, and then people won't care so much as long as he doesn't put his foot in his mouth again. I don't know. It's going to take at least a year.
I'm going to push back slightly. I'll agree with your overall premise there that absence will make the heart grow fonder. We move on to different stories and different news cycles in this country so quick and so fast these days, but I don't think it's going to be quite a year. I don't think Phil's going to have to lay out for quite a whole entire year. Because let's remember, he's the defending PGA champion, is he not, Mr. Roberts? I mean, he's going to have to show up for that tournament, don't you think?
You think he's going to show up? I mean, he wants to defend, but I think that's a perfect place to come back. That's roughly a year, 8, 9 months, whatever it is, and let him come back and see what he can do, if he can make a run at it, which, you haven't played competitive golf in a year other than if you're Tiger Woods. You're usually a little rusty when you come back.
Look at that. Yes, let's transition to more happy golf discussion. As we all just kind of touched on, Phil did not want to cloud the Masters beginning, and we all had a bomb dropped upon us when one Eldrick Tiger Woods himself came out and said he was playing. And Mr. Roberts, not only did he play, but he looked pretty darn good.
He did. This will sound bad. I was a slight disappointment with his driver. Just a little off after hearing Freddie Couples say during their practice round he was a machine with it. But his iron game looked good. His putter looked phenomenal. It was right on track. So he'll tighten that stuff up. He's in a good spot. The last 5 times he's won a major, he's shot like 70 in the opening round. So he's right at that number. He's in the hunt, top 10. What more could you ask for?
Yeah, Mr. King, as much of a Tiger Woods fan as I am, if you would have asked me to make a bet on him making the cut or missing, I don't know that I would have said make.
Yeah, I was wavering back and forth before this week if he played, whether or not I think he would make the cut. I thought him completing 2 rounds would still be a victory.
Absolutely.
And be good for the PGA. He looked great today. You could definitely tell the one thing he's been able to practice the most with is his putter. It was on point today, like Robert said. Really saved him on a few holes for sure. If he keeps putting like that, he'll be top 5 by the end of the weekend.
Yeah, it's so great to see him in the top 10 again. And Mr. Roberts, you have always pointed out the putting at Augusta, how, putting is just make or break there. We've always talked about why Bryson has such a tough time at Augusta because he's just not a great putter. And I heard something else interesting about your boy Bryson. Augusta has banned green books or putting books. What are they called? And then the PGA
Green books.
And then the PGA Tour adopted that too. And Bryson has really kind of fallen off. But a lot of people are presupposing that he leaned far too much upon those. Can you explain a little more about that?
Does it surprise you a scientific guy is using a book to figure something out?
Yeah, I guess. But what exactly is in the book?
So I have some secondhand stories. They had an NCAA tournament at the previous club I worked at, and our superintendent was talking about Bryson's team was there playing when he played for SMU. And he was spending hours on the greens, on our practice green, mapping them out with a compass, like measuring out how far the slope was.
So he's got
claim,
like a protractor and a ruler.
Yeah, I was trying to think protractor. I could not think of that.
A surveyor's tool, like you see on the side of the road.
Of course, it's a surveyor's tool. You probably made maps, you cartographer. You.
I've worked in maps.
It shows. That's how you used to have to get to school, right?
Yeah, it was a long traverse across many miles.
That's what I thought. Like they didn't have GPS or normal maps, MapQuest even. But no, Bryson's super scientific, and if he has something with his kind of feel, he knows what 73% of his putting stroke feels like every time. So if he knows to take it on a certain hole at a certain point with 73%. That's much better than most guys who know, like, hey, if I'm trying to hit it 75%, I might hit it 70, I might hit it 80. So that helps him if he has it mapped out. And he has the slopes graded out. Like the normal green book will show you the slope of the green. So then you can look above at it, look at a pin location, and see, hey, around this pin, it slopes behind the pin to the left, in front of the pin, straight down. You can see if you're uphill, downhill. You can see...
So it's like the Tiger Woods screen. It's like the screen they used to give you to put on Tiger Woods.
It's a grid in a book to help you read a green. And then know if whatever position you're at around the pin, oh, well, right in front of me, it's going down and to the left or straight right, and then you just for him, I think it really worked out. And with those gone, I don't think he has quite as much feel other than I need to hit this 73% and I need to hit it 6 foot right.
Yeah, he definitely seems to be somebody who's always been more about process and not necessarily as much about feel. But he does represent kind of the young guns in golf. And so we, of course, have the big story with Tiger coming back, and he's going to have huge crowds, and we hope that he is even in contention. And if he is in contention, he's going to have that intimidation factor. But if you had to say who of the young guns had the best shot at winning this tournament coming in, Mr. Roberts, who would it be?
In my opinion, and like I said, we're doing this on Thursday, full transparency. I thought it was Colin Morikawa. He's the best iron striker in the game right now, and Augusta is not a place you can always fire at pins. You have to fire at quadrants. You have to hit the ball in the right spot to get the right putt. And I felt like he was just going to go out and put irons wherever he had to. He struggled a little bit today. I think he finished 2 or 3 over. He's not out of it by any means. But that was my pick beforehand for the young guys, and he was my pick overall to win.
He's one over right now, so he's okay. Like tied for 31st. So still looks like he's safe to make the cut, and he could still come back.
I watched it all chopped up today with different replays at different points, so I'm not sure who was at where and what.
I like him coming in. You know, he's up there with a few other American names. You know, you got your Zalatoris, right, who came out of nowhere and finished.
Which I did not think he was going to play well. He's not a historically great putter, and I thought he would struggle there, and he surprised me. He was fun. He made some putts he absolutely had to. I mean, I'm not sure he's comfortable over a 5-foot putt. Obviously, he's probably perfectly comfortable of it, but it doesn't look like he is.
Right. And that's, I'm just glad to see him not wither under the pressure of, hey, big fella, you showed us a little something last year. Let's see what you got. And he's bringing that back. We, of course, are always going to have some foreigners in the running. And there's nothing wrong with that. Don't take any intonation from foreigners. It was just the only word I could pull from someone from a different country. We got Rory McIlroy, who we're always sort of interested in, right? He can pull off the career Grand Slam when he finally gets a green jacket. But then the number one player in the world, also the Spaniard, my guy, Jon Rahm, he was certainly playing well.
Former number one golfer in the world.
Oh, is it him and JT still going back and forth?
No, Scotty Scheffler surpassed him last week. He was number 40 in the world or something. He's won 3 tournaments this year. He actually broke a record, a Tiger Woods record. The fastest time from your first PGA Tour to number one in the world. Tiger, I think the first was David Duval at 360 days. Tiger was 252. Scotty Scheffler, 42.
Wow, look at this. A Tiger Woods record as Tiger Woods comes back to the Masters. I like that. Well, go ahead, Scotty Scheffler. But yeah, Jon Rahm looking good coming in, and he's right there hanging around in the hunt. So, Mr. King, who did you think you always have a wild pick for us? Who was your wild pick coming into the Masters?
Well, I was high on Scheffler before the week started. I thought he'd been playing really good, and he played a really good first round. He's tied for 3rd. I have been a Webb Simpson guy for a while. He seems to not show up when I really want him to, but he was a guy that was going to be my dark horse, and he played well. He's also tied for 10th along with Woods. He was going to be my dark horse this week.
Yeah, Webb Simpson's definitely a dark horse because when you say the name Webb Simpson, nobody cares anything about it. Everybody just moves completely on. It's Webb Simpson. He's just completely vanilla and bland.
U.S. Open champion Webb Simpson.
That's fine. You know who else? Isn't Stuart Sink a U.S. Open champion?
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. And what when I say Stuart Sink, what do you think of?
Ridiculous tan line on his bald head.
Exactly. All right, listen, I love the golf as much as the next guy, if not more than the next guy, unless maybe that next guy is Matt Roberts. But come on, there's some nondescript champions in the history of the good game of golf.
Well, and it is nice to see a lot of young guys there at the top of the leaderboard.
Golf needs
too.
it, right? As much as we're all excited about Tiger Woods being back and playing, Tiger Woods is not going to be in contention to, win every tournament week in and week out, nor is he going to play every tournament week in and week out. So this young crop of rising stars, Mr. Roberts, we need more of them to play well, right? So we can get some storylines.
I think they just said something, and I don't know the exact stat of it, but of the top 10 players in the world, all of them are under 28, I believe.
That bodes well.
Yeah, that's great for young golf. And maybe it was an average age of 28. I could be mistaken. But just knowing that that talent is there young, and a lot of those guys are 25, 26, 27, like, it's incredible. The game of golf is in wonderful hands. It's going to be a dip when not dies. Sorry, that came out about way wrong. But when he steps back from playing a lot of PGA Tour events,
When he's
there will
more
obvious,
Jack Nicklaus than he
Yes.
is Tiger Woods.
yeah, there'll be a little dip, but it's in good hands. We got a lot of, and not to pop off your foreigner remark here, but we have a lot of young, good American guys that get this crowd going, which only hypes one thing, and that's my other favorite event from the Masters and the Ryder Cup.
Right. You know how we love the Ryder Cup around
Love
here as
it.
well. All right, well, let me ask you this then, Mr. King. So we're talking about the young guns. We have all the top 10 players under 28. We all want Tiger Woods to win. Is it better for golf for Tiger Woods to win or for one of these youngsters to win?
Right now, you want Tiger Woods to finish close, top 5, top 10, be in contention till Sunday. But you want one of these younger guys to win. You want a Scotty
Wrong.
Scheffler to win. You
Wrong.
want a Joaquin Neiman. Nope, not. You don't need Tiger. Like, if Tiger wins the Masters, yes, that is a phenomenal comeback story, one of the greatest of all time. But long-term PGA, it's better if someone young wins.
No, you're wrong because, Mr. Roberts, let me see if this is where you were going to go. If Tiger wins another major, guess what conversation gets to spark up again, Chris? Guess what? He's close to the career majors number again, right? Tiger wins another major, that can pop back up. And then we're really, really paying attention to, is there going to be a U.S. Open course that's one of Tiger's courses? Definitely paying attention
St.
to the Masters
Andrews.
the next time around. Yeah, St. Andrews, right? I mean, come on, Mr. Roberts. That's the answer, right?
That's the best answer would be a Tiger Rory, Tiger JT Sunday pairing in an absolute battle, and Tiger wins.
Yeah, Tiger
That
JT,
would
the boys who
blow
came in
up.
together on the PJ.
Yeah, that would be awesome. That would be what would be great for golf. I mean, Tiger doesn't have to win another event ever, and he's great for golf. But if he continues to win at this age, and not only would it bring the Masters or the major streak in or the major record, it would be his 83rd career PGA Tour win, which would pass Sam Snead for the most of all time.
Nice. I did not know that. And we also know Tiger Woods to be a bit of a competitive dude, right? And so Phil Mickelson just set a record for being the oldest ever major winner. Don't you think Tiger might like to maybe take that record from him someday?
100%. Without a doubt. That would just be like another, like, gotcha, Phil.
Yeah, what if that's the one, right? He beats Phil when he turns 52, and that's his major that also beats Jack, right? Come on. Boom.
Oh.
Hollywood script right there. Hollywood script right there.
Inject that into my veins.
Right? Come on, Chris. They'll do it for the old guys.
As far as like a movie life goes, like how many crescendos and comebacks can you put in one movie?
Right?
He's had like, you're gonna have to just do one, and then you're gonna have to have like 4 sequels. Like,
Well, they had that many in Shawshank, didn't they? That worked out.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's definitely a lot of times where things aren't going well for Andy Dufresne during the span of Shawshank. There's definitely, but now Andy Dufresne, they kind of happened to Andy Dufresne. Tiger Woods sort of caused a lot of his downfalls.
True.
You know, you shouldn't be driving fast in automobiles, kids. All right, the last one that went around. You shouldn't be driving fast in automobiles and always wear your seatbelt.
so you get good character growth in every single sequel.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. You got to have that. It's the anti-hero, right? That's what works on TV these days. Tiger's the perfect anti-hero. All right, so Mr. Roberts, let's talk a little bit about the weekend here as we round down our discussion of the azaleas in bloom and everybody's favorite pimento cheese eating golf tournament. What do we think is going to happen here? Do we like the leaderboard that is now? Who's falling off? Do we like somebody coming up? What are we looking at?
I like the leaderboard where it's at now. There's not a clear pull away. There's not some guy who went out and shot 64, 65 today and really made a statement. They're going to flip tee times tomorrow, so the guys that went out in the morning will go out in the afternoon tomorrow. Conditions will be a little different. It seems like scoring got a little better in the afternoon. So we'll see how that happens. It got a little windy today. If that keeps up, that can make a big difference. But really, anybody within, I'd say 4 to 6 shots right now can make a move tomorrow. And then all hell can break loose on Saturday. You never know on moving day.
What do we think the number is going to be, the cut number? What do we think somebody's getting to at the end of the second round?
I wouldn't be surprised if you don't see somebody get to 7, 8, 9.
All right, so then we're looking at, the cut's going to be not much above par then, huh?
No, maybe 7's a little more realistic because you probably don't see him going out and shooting 67 again. But yeah, Cut's probably going to hover at that one over, even, one under.
Yeah. That's kind of where it normally lives for the Masters. Mr. King, what do you think? You think Mr. Roberts is onto something there, or do you foresee any weird weather or something crazy happening?
Well, there was a lot of rain in the south the last few days. I think it's been a lot wetter conditions today, and tomorrow will still be. But by Saturday and Sunday, those greens are going to get dry and a little bit faster. So you're going to look for the guys that are putting well, and that bodes well for you guys. Your guys' guy, Tiger Woods. He keeps putting like that. He will crawl back up into the top five and contend.
Wait a minute. Are you trying to paint yourself as anti-Tiger Woods right now? How's the our guy? What happened here?
I'm very confused. And Chris, don't ever forget, they got those sub-air heaters under the green and fans. Those things will be slick tomorrow. They can control that green speed if it's downpouring on it.
I always forget.
They're fancy.
They're so fancy and high tech down there, but they won't allow a green book.
Yeah.
Right. It's also a terrible movie. Nobody should watch that movie Green Book, but it actually isn't about putting. The movie Green Book, it's about a whole different thing. It's not a good movie though. Shouldn't have won an Academy Award, but that's for a different podcast. All right, Mr. Roberts, do you want to stick around and have a little NBA discussion with Mr. King and I, or do we need to let you go back into the desert sun because you don't want to hear Mr. King and I argue about what it is that we're going to argue about? I'm just going to flat ask you here.
I mean, I don't mind sticking around for a little bit. I can be a fly on the wall and interject with my non-NBA wisdom.
All right, that sounds good. Listen, we may ask you to judge it because I have a feeling Mr. King and I are going to be going for point by point here.
We may need a referee.
Is this going to be – do I need to get a notepad? Is this going to be like a around the horn situation?
It might be. You're going to be Tony Reale giving us points here as we go.
Do I get a mute button?
No, Jimmy has the mute button. So I guess if we get too out of control, Jimmy can ultimately just control all of it and mute any of us that he wants to at any time.
Love it. I'll just say mute.
There we go. That's good. All right. Well, Mr. Jim Riska is going to run my particular favorite way to get my Masters updates during these time to keep the golf theme rolling. And on the other side, Mr. King and I are going to have a discussion about a familiar topic, the NBA MVP. Stick around. All right, we are back as we are recording this. It is Thursday night, April 7th. There are literally only 2 and 3, in some situations even 1 game left for NBA teams. That means that the MVP is going to have to be decided. And Chris, I mean, everything is cut and dried, and we absolutely know who's going to be the MVP right now, right?
Apparently not. We do know that it's essentially... There's only 2 people at the table, right? We got an MVP table. We got 2 guys there. Will you agree on that?
I would agree that there seems to be 2 in the discussion, right? And that's one of the first things I would like to bring up here, okay? As much as I want Joel Embiid to win this MVP, and I'm just going to claim this again. I've said it on the podcast before. I have a sizable bet that could pay off for me if he wins MVP, so you could call me biased in this discussion. But I would like to think that I'm just trying to make solid points here, okay? My assertion right now would be no one in their right mind should be coming on any podcast and saying that definitively Nikola Jokic, Joel Embiid, or Giannis Antetokounmpo should definitively be the MVP. All 3 of these gentlemen are putting up insane seasons. It's ridiculous. I don't want this discussion to be looked at as I'm trying to talk down Giannis or talk down Jokic. But Chris, what you did say there, I think for this purposes of this discussion is good to point out. We are going to kind of leave Giannis to the side. But I did at least want to bring him up here and say that he really should probably be just as much in the running as the 2 guys we were about to talk about.
Listen, if we're going to be completely honest, there are essentially 4 unicorn-type players in the NBA right now. And you could probably make a case for any 4 of them. You know, that's Luka as the 4th in this group. Because he's put together a solid season, even though he got off to that slow start.
That's all it is for him, right? If he doesn't come fat at the beginning of the year, he's probably right there.
Yeah, he definitely is. And these are the types of players that are going to continue to be in this discussion. But it does seem for the most part that everybody in the NBA, all the talking heads, are leaving Giannis and Luka off to the side.
That's right. So we're going just Jokic and just Embiid here. All right. So Mr. Roberts, you as just a more peripheral NBA fan, as you understand it right now, are those the two main candidates, or do you out there in the desert hear more of this garbage that the Phoenix Suns are trying to bring up and saying that Devin Booker should be in the MVP discussion?
No one out here is saying Devin Booker belongs in the MVP discussion that I know of.
The Phoenix Suns have tried to do it, but you're saying the fans aren't necessarily agreeing with it?
I haven't heard a thing about it.
Good.
From my opinion, a lot of the guys in my office like to partake in a legal sports betting situation out here, so there's a lot of talk back and forth. I get the Embiid Jokic.
Okay, good. So we have the parameters at this point that it's all pretty well established that we got one guy versus another guy. Now, Jokic is the defending MVP, okay? That factors into the discussion for me, okay? I just have a tough time not realizing that when you give a particular person the MVP, it will be their second year in a row. And Chris, I bring this up because, correct me if I'm wrong, but a few years back when Giannis had won 2 MVPs in a row, it was basically just assumed all year long that there's no possible way he could win it that year because that would have been his third in a row, and only 2 other people in basketball history had done that before. So clearly there has been a establishment that multiple MVPs factors into the discussion.
Yeah, it seems to. And like it seems to have been like this for ages. Like it does seem to take somebody special to win the 3 in a row. We've had this conversation in years past where it was by far, if you're going to be giving the MVP to the best player in the league, the best player in the league was LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
And
Exactly.
and he would constantly not win. He'd be in the discussion, but they would give it to somebody else. And so you do see a lot of guys getting those 2 in a row, but they do not like to give out 3.
You're right, and that hurt Giannis. So what I would ask you right now is, Chris, Nikola Jokic, does he seem like a back-to-back MVP winner in the National Basketball Association to you?
In the current world of the NBA, yes. Because he puts up the stats that people want to see now. They want to see.
They want to see. Wait a minute. What do you mean by they want to see? Explain yourself.
You talk all the time about what the fans want, and they want to see guys go out there getting nearly triple doubles on a nightly basis. They want to see the guy that's going to get you 25, 10, and 10, and that's the type of stats that you're getting with guys like Jokic. And to a lesser extent, Luka and Giannis, more so than Embiid, just because Embiid doesn't get the assists quite, and that's a big difference right
Who
there.
do you want Embiid to pass to? A broke down James Harden?
And listen, if he was getting plenty of opportunities to kick out early in the season, his assist numbers were definitely up because he got a lot of random outside shooting help at the beginning of the season from a lot of scrubs. So like there's opportunities for him to pass. So you can't just say who's he going to pass to.
Well, see, but you tell me that there's not a thing that Nikola Jokic does wrong, right? Like you bring up all these stats. You say, what I don't understand. Okay, this is what I don't understand is that we will hear people say to me, they will be like, oh, well, Rod, you have to remember that sometimes Bill Russell would be put on the second team All-NBA because Wilt Chamberlain was just better than him. Yeah, no, I get that because Wilt Chamberlain is one of the most transcendent basketball talents that's ever stepped foot on the hardwood. But you know who's not one of the most transcendent talents to ever set foot on a hardwood? Nikola Jokic. So all these people, they're just completely willing to set aside Joel Embiid as if Joel Embiid is Bill Russell, which I'm not saying here, and then as if Nikola Jokic is Wilt Chamberlain. That's crazy to me. These people willing to just set him aside for Jokic is nuts. I don't understand what we're doing here.
Listen, don't compare a dick with a finger, all right? Like the Russell versus Wilt discussion is completely different than this discussion.
That's what I hear, though. That's what I hear. So what I assume from that then is people are just telling me, well, Rod, you have to deal with one of the most transcendent basketball players that's ever played, and I just don't think Nikola Jokic is that.
No, but like, I mean, listen, I'm not going to ever compare Jokic with Wilt, just like right now I'm never going to compare Embiid to Russell. I mean, you got 2 guys that are still young and early in their careers versus 2 long-term NBA
Very true.
legends,
Very
you
true.
know.
That's fair.
So I can't. No, I'm not going to call Embiid as good as Russell or Jokic as good as Chamberlain or vice versa. That's not going to happen. I'm also not going to say right now that they're better than the great centers of the '90s and early 2000s either. The Hakeems, the Shaqs, the David Robinsons, Patrick Ewings, even, or let alone Kareem. I mean,
Or well,
so
here's another narrative then that you'll hear. You'll hear another narrative that Nikola Jokic should get all of this extra credit because Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. haven't been able to play basketball this year. Well, guess what? An NBA team suffers injuries. Write it down, front page headlines. No, it's not. Every team has injuries. I don't care what goes on with injuries on your team. That should not factor into the MVP. Chris, why are people telling me this matters?
because they're dumb. Again, this isn't my issue with Embiid because he has the same exact issue that Jokic is having. You got two superstars with no other real star, all-star, major contributor playing alongside of him. Embiid didn't have anybody until Harden came over, and he still kept Philadelphia in the top four of the East. Jokic hasn't had anybody all season, and he still kept the Nuggets as a playoff team. So you still have these superstars with no real accessories around them leading their teams to playoff berths. So I see that as equal.
Okay, all right. So then you and I we agree on that then. Okay, the other thing that we want our MVPs to do is always be yearning for more, always be in the lab, getting better, improving, showing that they are better from one year to the next. And what was the biggest argument that we always used against Joel Embiid, Chris? Namely, last year when he lost the MVP race to Nikola Jokic. What did we say to him last year, Chris?
We said he needed to play more.
What did he do this year? What did he do this year?
Listen. Yes, last year he played.
And we're
like
just
what?
shoving him to the side. We're just
50
shoving him into the side after he did exactly what we wanted him to do. We're just shoving him to the side because the most transcendent basketball player to ever grace God's green earth happens to play center out in Denver.
Listen,
Mute.
We we asked Embiid to do all these things, and he has done those. Listen, I told you at the beginning of the year that I didn't think he'd be able to do it, and he's played probably 20 more games than I thought he would. He's like what, 66 games he's played this year so far, 67,
Something
which
like that.
he hasn't done in his career yet, and so that's almost a full season for him. And he's leading the league in scoring. He's doing the things right. Yet you still have the reigning MVP going out there and improving on his insane numbers from last year.
Here we go. All right, so now it's time. You brought up numbers. You brought up time. Now it's time. Give everybody out there the numbers that are cooked up in labs and are Forbes and Schnorps and Flips and Tips and all this advanced stuff that you have to pay all of these dudes who sit back with lab coats on and crunch numbers through computers, even though basketball is not played in a computer, and these guys would never even deem to watch a basketball game and have any idea what actual basketball talent looks like. But my God, the numbers. So Chris, please explain it to me.
Okay, listen, I can give you advanced metrics if you want. I can give you, that Jokic improved his PER, his wins above replacement, his value above replacement from last year. That his numbers are still higher than anybody else in the league in those numbers, just like they were last year. So he led the league in those last year, and he improved on them this year. Embiid did too. I'm not going to take that away from him. His numbers improved greatly, but there's still, he is definitely, he's in third place or second place in PER, and he is closer to fifth place than he is to Jokic at first. I mean, so there's a difference, but I won't even go there. So we'll start with Jokic's stats. He improved everywhere from last year except for assists. They have gone down this season, although this past month they have increased dramatically. He's been on fire. He improved his field goal percentage. His efficiency has gone up. He is scoring more points on less shots. He improved his rebounding. By almost 3 rebounds per game. His stocks went up from last year.
There it is.
And he commits less fouls. If you want to compare them to Embiid, yes, Embiid is scoring 3 points more per game.
Yeah.
Embiid is scoring 30.
What's the object of the game, Chris? What's the
To-
object of the game?
to
Put the ball
score
in the
points.
Hoop. Put
That's
the ball in the
right.
hoop, baby. Put
That's-
the ball in the hoop.
And as far as putting the ball in the hoop, Jokic is still way more efficient than Embiid.
I don't
He
care
takes
about efficiency. I care about
You
W's. I care about W's and points, Chris.
well, if you want W's, the player that's going to get you more W's over a replacement is Jokic. Jokic will get you more wins during the season than Embiid will as a player.
Yeah, because he's got such a doughy body that he's never going to be hurt and he's never going to be out of the lineup. See, now here
We had
I
a
go.
golfer that did that, John Daly.
See, now here I go. I'm just taking all these shots at Jokic. But that's what this thing's doing. It's got me all tied up in knots, and I just don't understand how anybody, and Mr. King, I have to give you incredible credit here, how you've managed to stay right down the line. I think you definitely lean Jokic, but you've managed to stay down the line here. I cannot do it. I just get angry when I hear people say, oh, it's Jokic MVP hands down. And I just think, how can it be hands down anything?
It sucks that Embiid is having his best season of his career, and there just happens to be a reigning MVP that improved his performance from his MVP year. That's tough to overlook. You can't look at an MVP and see that they improved damn near every aspect of their game and say, well, he doesn't deserve the MVP again if he's still getting better results than everybody else.
All right, Mr. Roberts, let me ask you this. You are picking first in a pickup basketball game, okay? So there's you and the other guy across from you that's picking the other teams, all right? And then there are an assortment of gentlemen up on the wall, but also up on the wall with the assortment of random just anybody you can find at a LA Fitness open gym, right? Are Jokic and Embiid. Which guy are you taking first for your team?
Well, first off, let's go ahead and say the chance that I even play in that game, even if it was 4-on-5, they're not going to let me play. But just for the fun factor and as a casual fan, I would much rather play with Joel Embiid than Jokic or Jokic.
This is lunacy. This is lunacy.
What?
This is lunacy. Why you're going to pick Nikola Jokic. So again.
No, I said I'd rather play with Embiid.
Oh, you did? I thought you said Jokic.
No, I said I'd rather play with Embiid than Jokic or Jokic.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
My bad. See, again, I'm just all fired. That's the correct answer. Mr. King, your answer.
It would be hard for me to turn down playing with somebody that has hair as glorious as Joel Embiid.
That's a great answer.
I mean, if you're wanting to throw an alley-oop to somebody, you want them to have hair as glorious as that flowing through the air.
All right, let me just ask this one last question. Someone that knows absolutely nothing about the game of basketball comes down from another planet and lands, and we say to them, we have this game called basketball, okay? And it takes the top-level athletes to be able to play this game. And then we're going to stand up Joel Embiid and Nikola Jokic. Which guy do you think the alien is going to point out as the MVP?
I think that's pretty obvious.
I think that should matter, is what I'm saying. I think that should matter. That should be a category in this MVP discussion. That might be the only thing that sways it for me.
That may be a little bit racist.
How about that? I don't know that that's racist at all. I think that has to do with athletic ability. Is that a race thing? I think that's any race, creed, or color could be a bad athlete.
I mean, are they coming down and watching them perform athletic abilities, or
If
do
you
they
looked
just
at Joel
looking at
Embiid
them
and
standing
Jokic
there?
next to each other,
Embiid's winning.
there's no way anybody would look at those two people and think Jokic is more athletic.
That's what I'm saying. If you put him through a camp, he gets a vert, you know what I mean? He gets the sprint, he gets the cone drill, all that stuff. Come on, man. Embiid's blowing him out of the water.
I'm just saying, just because you're the best athlete doesn't necessarily mean you're also the best basketball player.
Of course it doesn't. I'm just saying I want that as a category because it's the only thing that can sway it in my favor. Because, again, I'll point it out that I'm being biased here, all right? I have a chance to win a decent size of money on a bet that I made months and months ago, right? Do you know how smart I will feel if this pays off? I made a bet the Toronto Raptors would make the playoffs. Thank you, Toronto, for pulling that off for me. And I made a bet that the Heat would win their division, and they're the best team in the East, so they're winning their division. If Embiid wins MVP, I go 3 for 3. And do you know how many times I will break my own arm patting myself on the back, Mr. King, if I go 3 for 3 on these NBA bets?
No, and that's listen, as far as content for our pod, I want you to win. And you also got to think, by far, the East is better overall as far as the quality of basketball. All those playoff teams are...
Jokic has got to beat this sorry Lakers team all year long.
And where the West may have, like, two of the best teams in the league, maybe even three, the top three best teams in the league, there's a dramatic fall off. I mean, you got teams in the West making the playoffs that are almost 10 games below 500. That's like what the East used to do a
Hello,
few years
San
ago.
Antonio.
So you do tend to see the MVP coming out of the better conference as well.
Yeah, listen, I think basically what I'm trying to say here is that everything should point to Joel Embiid for MVP, Mr. Roberts. Did I make that clear enough?
You did, but you also should have parlayed those bets.
Somebody else told me that on Twitter when I sent out a picture of my bet. Somebody else told me that. I was like, listen, I don't know enough about gambling to have even been close to doing that.
I wonder what that would have paid out a lot. I bet
that'd have been huge.
You probably would have been even getting offered to cash out after you've already gotten two of those.
Yeah, as close as it is with those two, you would have got a good cash out.
Well, maybe I'll parlay a couple of bets next year, but I'll promise you one thing I'm not going to do is I will never again bet on the NBA MVP because this has been absolute torture. I used to not hate Nikola Jokic, and now I despise the man. Every time his name gets brought up on an NBA podcast, it's like somebody's digging a knife into me. I will never again put myself through this torture.
Would it have been what's worse? Would it have been worse to see Embiid go down with an injury early in the season, or to be at this point right now?
If he went down with an injury at the beginning of the season, I'd have been like, yeah, that's what I get, man. I mean, past history should have told me that's exactly what he's going to do. This is torture, man. The only thing that would have been worse than this is if the player that was going to beat me out at the last second was Kyrie Irving. Then I don't think I'd ever be able to podcast again if that was the case.
Oh, you might never watch the NBA again.
Yeah, that would just be the ultimate I've been watching a lot of Undertaker stuff because of the big WWE WrestleMania over the weekend, and that'd be like my coffin match, right? If Kyrie Irving wins NBA MVP, just put the nail in my coffin and send me off into the river and fire arrows at me like a Viking funeral. It's done. All right, I think we should wrap up Balls and Brew for this week. Mr. King and I have yelled at each other enough. Mr. Roberts has been sitting patiently and I think enjoying himself while we were yelling at one another. But I know for a fact he enjoyed himself when he was on talking about the Masters. Didn't you, Mr. Roberts?
Always love talking golf. I'm slightly disappointed I didn't catch quite the heat you two had while we were getting things started. It was a little more civil than I anticipated it being. But it's always fun being with you guys. You know, I like talking a little trash with you.
It's because I've become, as I say now, I'm a semi-professional podcaster, so I've learned to tone it down just enough for the people, for the content to go out there, so I don't come off quite like a raving lunatic. But yeah, if you guys would have heard the pre-show fist fight between Mr. King and I, goodness gracious.
I sat there for, about 8 minutes while you guys talked, and you didn't even know I was there.
No, I saw your Kentucky waterfall popping into the chat room. I saw it.
Well, what-y fall, because I apparently can't spell.
Yeah, not only was the pre-show back and forth pretty fired up. You should have seen the text thread earlier from the group of us. It went way off the rails.
The 89 messages I woke up to?
Yeah, exactly.
I forget about that sometimes, Mr. Roberts. When we get going in the morning, you just wake up and you're like, oh my goodness.
No offense, I put your guys' notifications on mute. I see them. I look through them, I assure you. But if you guys start shooting me messages at 2:30, 3:30 in the morning, I'm going to kill you.
I understand. And listen, I'll tell you what, I wanted to kill myself based on some of the takes that were coming in the group thread this morning. There was some absolute monstrosities
garbage
being thrown out. But I'm not going to call anybody out here because the group thread stays with the group thread. It's a safe space in there. But my goodness, some of the stuff that was said in there this morning. All right, but the other thing I wanted to do here, and I'm going to get sappy for just a second, but Mr. King, I want to give you props and kudos and roses here, my friend. I threw a last-minute assignment at you, told you to watch WrestleMania, come on the Yeah We Know pod with Mr. Jamrisk and I, and talk about wrestling, and you knocked it out of the park, my friend. You did a great job. Anybody that enjoys listening to Chris here talking about sports, you should pop over and listen to the episodes that occurred before this one in this very feed where Chris talked a little sports entertainment. Did you enjoy yourself, Chris?
Oh, it was fantastic. And as far as getting back into watching wrestling for the first time in a while, it was the perfect one for me to get into because they had Stone Cold come back, and that was perfect because he was wrestling in the top of his game when I stopped.
Yeah, it was really, really good WrestleMania. If anybody out there listening to this podcast used to listen to wrestling and they're not really into it anymore, check out last week's pod. Check out the WrestleMania that just occurred. It's WWE at at its highest level in quite a little while. I recommend it quite highly. But that's all for Balls and Brew right now. Make sure you're checking out this very feed next week. We have all of our regularly scheduled programming, but there also will be a very special podcast from the Morgan You Know podcast, the pop culture arm of this particular podcast network, all about the Beatles. I'm telling you, it's a good one. We worked on it for quite a while. You're going to enjoy it. It'll be out at the beginning of next week. The Beatles episode, be looking out for that one. Until next time, this has been Balls and Brew. We've had a blast. Hopefully you have too. Final word goes to Mr. King.
Goodbye, Internet.